A lot of people ask us, what do I say to a police officer after an accident? After a car accident, or any kind of accident for that matter, you're rattled and you're not thinking straight some of the time. And in the time before the police show up, that's a really important time to really gather your thoughts and put together exactly how did this happen. And the best way to do that is to think in terms of a linear progression of what happened, and to be able to describe that accurately, briefly, and without any other fluff. When you get into this long narrative about what happened, especially if you're speculating about things like, or admitting to things even worse, like the sun got in my eyes, or the road was slippery, or, if we get into speculation about how the accident happened, then that can hurt the police narrative. The best way to explain things to the police officer is to have a brief, concise, accurate narrative of what happened, just boom, 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 this is what happened, and not have all this other mumbo jumbo, like I was traveling down the street and I noticed that this guy was following me a little bit too closely. I mean, don't get into all this nonsense before or after the accident. Just say, this is what happened right at the time of the accident. So the best thing to do is to just stay calm and walk the police through what happened. Some other advice on this is to never say that you're okay. Society has trained us to say, yeah, we're good. If you've got injuries, then you need to talk about that with the police officer, because though saying you're okay, there were no injuries, I've seen that many, many, many times in a police report where the police report says, hey, there were no injuries, and then my client comes to me and they've got serious injuries. And so even though there's adrenaline going and stuff and you may feel okay, the best thing to do is to say, look, I'm not feeling great. I've got, my neck hurts, my head hurts, my back hurts, whatever it is. It's okay to be honest with the police officer, and actually probably better to be honest with the police officer, because that shows honesty in that as well as, and then the inference is that you're honest in everything you say. And then if the police officer puts that in the report, then that's going to help your case. So don't apologize or admit fault to the police officer. This is really important because you may think that you are at fault, but you may not have been at fault. And so I think the best thing to do is to just say, this is what happened, without admitting fault or apologizing to the officer. And then, we can evaluate that later in our office as to whether you were at fault or not. So the bottom line in speaking with police officers after an accident is to be polite, be calm, be honest, but careful about what you're saying, and don't speculate about how the accident happened. Just keep it to the facts. And then after that, hire an attorney and make sure that we go through that and help you with the insurance company when it comes to where liability comes from or doesn't come from. There are a lot of cases that are super fact intensive. And, like if it's a left turn, or, we have a case right now where somebody was turning right and our client went around them a little bit and somebody didn't see them and pulled out and they had a head-on collision. And, there are these interesting fact scenarios where liability may not be as clear as a rear end collision. So sometimes it really is important to hire an attorney to figure out where the liability is and isn't.